What's up, gamers? So last month I went on a quest to find the worst animated movie of all time, and a lot more people watched it than I thought, so now we're doing another one of these. Yeah, that's the only reason we're doing this. I'm not gonna lie to you. Last time I used the enormous sample size of 5 movies to objectively decide that Food Fight was the worst animated movie ever made, but I did my best to try and find 3 more kids movies that I can proudly say I did not enjoy as an adult man. But first, I know, it's time for everyone's favorite part, the ad time. This video is brought to you by FlexiSpot, because as someone that sits in a chair for 17 hours a day looking at unfunny Twitter memes instead of actually doing my work, I'm sure you can imagine I spend a lot of time giving myself severe back injuries because I sit like L from Death Note. Like, for some reason, whenever I'm sitting in a chair, I can't just like sit like a normal person. Like, I have to be cross-legged or just anything other than a position where I'll still be able to walk when I'm like 30. So FlexiSpot sent me their C7 chair to try out, and just like that, I can feel my spine again. The chair adjusts to pretty much however you want to sit because it's got built-in lumbar support to make that 15-hour league session as cushy as possible. And it's got a full-on control interface, like it's got adjustable armrests. The chair can support over 100 kilos and can even tilt forward for when you really need to lock in. And the headrest can move forward and back and can go up and down for all you 6-foot gamers out there. No matter what, it's got your back. And it's pretty easy to assemble, and that's coming from someone where the 8+ on Lego boxes is measuring how many hours it takes me. And I haven't even mentioned the E7 Pro standing desk, because sometimes you just don't want to keep that dumpy tucked away all day. I didn't get this one personally, but I've enlisted the help of a Canadian stunt double to show off to you that the desk is stable as hell and won't wobble no matter how hard you spam that keyboard. The E7's pretty easy to adjust, and it's customizable, so you can choose what size, color, and material you want, and it can hold up to 200 kilos in case your mum sits on it. So check out the link in the description or use my code for discounts like $50 off the C7 chair. Thanks so much to FlexiSpot for giving my spine another 10 years, and let's get back to looking at some more crappy kids movies. Okay, so I started making this video just in time for there to be a new SpongeBob movie to come out that everyone is already calling the worst SpongeBob thing ever, which, I don't know, that's a pretty big call, man. Gotta be honest, the only other SpongeBob thing I've ever seen is the movie with David Hasselhoff in it, but I still wanted to check this out to see if it was as bad as people were saying, or if it was just like SpongeBob fans exaggerating, which, I mean, please, they would never do. I remember hearing that this one like leaked onto Twitter earlier this year, so like people had already seen it like 6 months ago, and the reactions weren't great, but also bear in mind that Twitter's video quality looks like this. I also don't know why this is on Netflix when Paramount literally has their own streaming service. Like, did they upload it to the wrong site, or?
And all my streaming videos on demand. I can't demand them anymore!
The premise here is that the research lab that Sandy works for kidnaps all of Bikini Bottom so that they can clone them and turn them into marketable toys to sell to children. Like, the bad guys are literally just Nickelodeon's merchandising department. This one's like the last couple SpongeBob movies where they blend live action with animation, and sometimes it looks pretty good, and sometimes it's like the last half hour of the movie where we find out that the bad guy is like a cyborg with a real human head, just kind of like shittily edited onto an animated robot body. Like, it looks so fucking weird. Her name is Tsunami, by the way. Love it. She has like this backstory scene where they kind of just like poorly keyframe her head onto a child's body. And like, yeah, obviously the fact that it looks kind of jank is the joke, but I don't know, it's kind of good to know that I could always get a job at Netflix if this YouTube thing doesn't work out. But like, aside from that, honestly, I thought this one was just kind of fine. Like, I didn't think it was amazing or anything, but it is definitely not up there with like the worst ever, unlike the next one we're gonna look at. Okay, so I figure at some point in one of these bad movie videos, I'm going to have to talk about Space Chimps 2, because this thing absolutely clears the worst kids movies ever list, even though I find it really hard to believe that anyone is that passionate about the Space Chimps franchise. The first one's one of those movies where it's like fallen into that part of my brain where I know that I definitely saw it as a kid, but I can't remember a single thing about it. You know, next to like, I don't know, Planet 51 or Escape from Planet Earth, you know, those kind of movies. And the first one isn't amazing, but it's not bad. It's got jokes, okay?
I guess I'm just a chimp off the old block.
Shut the fuck up!
I think the most notable thing about the first movie is how the main chimp is like speedrunning the world record for the most workplace HR violations with how much he harasses the only female chimp in the movie.
Luna means moon in Latin.
That's right, sir.
Monkey.
But as it turns out, the first Space Chimps is a cinematic masterpiece compared to Space Chimps 2 Zartog Strikes Back.
This is how we do it at Mission Control.
Oh no. Now, both of these released in cinemas are only like 2 years apart, so I don't know why the animation is like noticeably so much worse than the first one. And like the Wikipedia page is completely barren of any information about it because no one gives a shit about Space Chimps 2. At the end of the first movie, they encase the bad guy Zartog in the alien equivalent of concrete and strap him to the nose cone of their ship so they can fly back to Earth, which, Jesus Christ, I'm pretty sure has to be some kind of war crime. But in the sequel, he breaks out because one of the chimps hijacks a ship to go bone an alien from the first movie that he's apparently apparently now e-dating. So yeah, the one thing I do remember about Space Chimps actually is that it has some of the ugliest fucking alien designs I've ever seen in my life. Like, every time I look at this thing called Kilowatt, I'm filled with this overwhelming urge to kick a toddler.
If you swallow me, I will only grow stronger.
She looks like if Megamind's parents terminated their pregnancy halfway. Space Chimps 2 feels more like a filler episode of a TV show that doesn't exist than a movie with an actual plot, because like the first 40 minutes is just the movie making us endure scenes of the sexual tension between a monkey and an unborn fetus.
On my planet, we only give schnitzel fruit to very special friends.
And then meanwhile, you have like half an hour of scenes of Zartog not understanding how Earth technology works. Like literally the first thing he does after waking up is getting hit by a car. One of the Space Chimps lets Zartog into NASA because he has severe brain damage from when they crash landed on Earth in the first movie.
Guess who I just ran into? Old Zartog! I gave him a tour of the place. Gave him level 5 clearance to mission control. Oh, you should have been there. It was hilarious.
It sounds like I'm joking, but I'm pretty sure that's like a legitimate plot point. Zartog finds like a disintegration ray in NASA that looks like a Wiimote for some reason. And he goes around mass murdering everyone at NASA, which is like the 3 models they actually made of humans in this movie. I don't know why it looks like a Wiimote. I don't know if that was like a tie-in with the Wii game or if they just couldn't be bothered coming up with a model for it. But maybe Zartog was the hero all along, because the first thing he does after meeting Kilowatt is immediately kill her. So I'm sorry I called you ugly, Zartog. You were a real one, man.
This dialogue is just awful. Just go shove a banana up your ass.
All right, so save the best till last as always. The last one for today is Rhapsody Street Kids, which I'm finding really hard to believe is a real movie and not an early sign of my brain death. This was a 40-minute long Christmas special that aired on WB in 2002 on actual television, and I know how it looks, but you're never gonna believe that there was some actual talent behind this. Like, this shit is like the Avengers Endgame of voice actors. We've got Belle from Beauty and the Beast, Bart Simpson, Ariel, Ultra Magnus, and fucking Mark Hamill. Did these guys owe money or something?
Ricky's gonna decorate the tree.
Let's just see what Ricky Rhymemaster can do.
No, that is not the voice that should be coming out of that face, man. What the fuck? Oh, and it's a musical too, because I haven't suffered enough apparently.
Look at me, look and you'll see the
I really want to tell you what this is about, but I think kids watching this would have an easier time following the plot of a Christopher Nolan movie. The animation isn't just bad, like it genuinely does not convey what is supposed to be happening. I had to bust out Wikipedia to check like the write-up on the plot to try and understand what I was even watching. We like follow this apparently human child called Ricky, and everyone in Ricky's class of sentient sex dolls absolutely hates him.
You might be smart with books, but you sure are stupid.
Which might have something to do with the fact that he starts uncontrollably rapping whenever anyone tries to talk to him.
I'm a decorating master, no one is faster. Don't you know I'm a Christmas tree blaster.
And it also doesn't help that his teacher probably shouldn't be allowed to work with children.
Ow! Ow! Miss Parrington, get him away from me!
That means he likes you.
Also, Ricky lives with his grandma, who may actually be possessed by a demon.
Grandma, you always know just what to say. Christmas.
I could go on for ages about how the animation's bad, but I also don't really know if I want to call this animation. Like, what is there even to say, really? You have eyes. You don't need me to tell you. They live in, like, this hellscape made out of 2D PowerPoint assets. Like, everything that isn't a building or the animator's impression of a person is just, like, an unmoving JPEG, like the cars with wheels that don't spin. There's a part where Ricky gives his crush a bear as a present, and it, like, changes its plane of existence when she touches it. There's this one part where they tried to animate a dog. There is a shot where this woman doesn't have legs. I would be legitimately surprised if you even told me this had a script.
I'm ready to skate bigger and faster than my mom can make the biggest sandwich in the world.
Oh. I think the part where I lost it though was when this one girl gets given like a pony for Christmas, but they've just left it outside in the freezing cold, which is probably why it's not moving. So apparently this entire thing was made in like 4 months. And the problem was they were using this program called 3D Choreographer that is like the Windows Movie Maker of animation software. Like it could render shit way faster than most other programs, sure, but that was also because it looks like this. But you also couldn't model anything in it. You couldn't swap out textures. Basically, you couldn't do any of the bare minimum requirements to make an animated movie. So yeah, that explains why it looks the way it does, I guess. Rhapsody Street Kids ends with a threat that they were going to do another one of these, but we were all very fortunate that that never happened. Thanks, Santa.
And a Merry Christmas to all.
Shut that door.
That was maybe the worst thing I've seen in my entire life, so yeah, this one wins, I think. Okay, I think it's about going to do it for this one. Be sure to smash that like button like I'm about to go smash my head against a wall until I forget about everything I saw today, and I will see you guys next time.